And it started with the veterans, but the way, and we, for that reason, labeled it the Veterans Disarmament Act, but it was not intended just for them. It simply didn't have the money in the bill to provide for everybody else that's going to get zapped by this thing. Well, guess what? The socialist in chief got that big bailout measure passed, and in it was 20 billion big ones for putting into a uniform computer system all of the medical records in the entire country. And what we're fighting over right now in the national healthcare, nationalized medicine system, is whether or not you have to submit your medical information, and your doctor would have to submit it. So they're kind of closing the loop on us, folks.
Oh, they're trying to build this smart grid. I see commercials for it every single day. Every single day I see a commercial how great the smart grid's going to be, how all your health records are going to be on this grid, how they're going to use it to fight terror and crime. You see biometric scans of people. It is happening. There are so many nexus points with this one point of $1,000 snitch service. You thought you had the right to face your accusers? Not anymore. We're coming back after this.
This is Alex Jones. Have you heard of the Millionaire Patriot? Well, you should. He has a free handgun and 5 days of firearms training waiting for you. That's right. You can attend 5 days of world-class gun training at Front Sight Firearms Training Institute and secure a 30-state concealed weapons permit, all for pennies on the dollar. Plus, if you act fast, the Millionaire Patriot will give you a free Springfield Armory XD pistol in the caliber of your choice. I believe now is the time that you and your family need to be armed and trained to levels that exceed law enforcement and military standards. Front Sight provides such training without any boot camp mentality or drill instructor attitudes. This is real. Don't miss out. Secure a Front Sight defensive handgun course, plus a 30-state concealed weapons permit for pennies on the dollar, and get your free handgun. Go to frontsight.com today. That's FRONTSIGHT.com. Go to frontsight.com for your training and free gun.
You know, I just want to give out one other just scenario I came up with over the break that just shows how flawed and ridiculous this program is. Now, I'm a criminal. I'm a drug dealer. I'm a gun dealer. I'm going around and selling weapons. Now, I'm thinking to myself, man, I'm not making enough on these weapons sales. Why don't I catalog my clientele? So I'll sell a gun for between $300 and $600, knowing it's illegal. I'll then go give that gun to somebody, then turn them in and make another $1,000 on it. And I'm anonymous. So this guy who gets his gun taken away never even gets to face his accuser, essentially the end of habeas corpus. If you're going to do this randomly, a gun dealer could be just turning in his clientele again and again and again. Now, does that really keep guns off the street? No, the supplier is still there. And maybe he doesn't run in all of his clientele because some of them are repeat customers, and it's not business savvy for him to turn them in for $1,000. But the lower level customers, it's more than business savvy for him. And that's just one of the many things that is wrong with this bill, on top of creating this next Stasi force. And like we said, you know, it starts with guns, and then they're the environmental police. And this really is a nexus point. I mean, Newark, New Jersey is a city center. I'm sure that they have a city year group that's now funded by AmeriCorps running these national commercials, and that is the next step in snitch services. They're going to be going door to door on September 11th this year to try to recruit you into this civil service corps. Meanwhile, H.R. 1444 is out there, and they literally say they are putting out committees for national service for everybody, including baby boomers. Baby boomers get their own section. I mean, I don't know about you, Larry, but I don't think that we need 60-year-old women and men in city-year jackets as the new Stasi force.
That's the idea, is to have neighborhoods full of watchful eyes. After all, if you have nothing to hide, you have nothing to fear. And that is probably one of the really most infamous lies that we get from the statist types. You'll notice that they want the sheep to be transparent. They want to put chips in us. But do we know their bank accounts? Do we know where their kids go to school? Do we know where they live? No, I don't think so. In fact, in some cases, it's actually illegal to disclose some of that kind of information about public officials. We've seen the hypocrisy of transparency with newspapers who, from time to time, go on a let's tell the world, including especially stalkers and other criminals, who the people are with concealed carry permits. Want to know where Dr. Smith lives that might have a bunch of pain pills in his house? Well, here it is. So in Virginia, this was done some time ago, and the list of all the concealed carry holders was published in a newspaper in Fredericksburg. And the retaliation was swift and, I thought, rather clever and effective. It wasn't more than a week or so before online was the Social Security number, name and address, and I'm not sure what other personal information about the folks at the newspapers, the editor, the reporter, whatever, that had published all this information. All of a sudden, there was an outrage. Why, what are they doing? Don't they have any respect for privacy? They got the point. They didn't ever agree that they got the point, but they've kept their hands off the list since then.
Well, the point is, who watches the watchman? Who is big brother to big brother? There is no oversight, and these guys get it. It's like this Federal Reserve situation. The Federal Reserve causes the crash of the economy, and then we're going to give them new SEC-type powers to oversee themselves. And, you know, like I said, I just read this one, FDIC gearing up for bank closures. Yeah, they're going to cut out the banks that aren't playing ball. They're going to shut down the good banks while they can contain their monopoly. And we're seeing this over and over and over again in every facet of our lives.
Well, we also see when socialists make decisions regarding businesses, and I didn't want to say business decisions because that might imply that they had a business logic. We can see what was done when General Motors recently wanted to locate in I think it was Nashville, but a city in Tennessee, and the socialist in chief, the new chairman of the board of government motors, said no. And the reason was because there wouldn't be union employees in that state, and because the carbon imprint just wouldn't be acceptable in that location.
Well, if you look at Chrysler, for instance, they're taking this opportunity to distribute it throughout North America for their little North American union. Yes, now we're going to have 2 plants in Canada and 1 in Mexico, and there's only going to be 4 in the United States, making 7 total. But this will make friends with our North American neighbors, Larry. Larry Pratt, Gun Owners of America, thank you so much for joining us.
It's been a pleasure. Folks can find us at gunowners.org when they go to the web.
All right, thank you so much. We're going to be back after this with Jim DeMint and his comments on the floor. It's the Alex Jones Show. Back after this.